gospel doesn't just call us to the ends of the earth, it also calls us to our own nation. We long to see the good news of Jesus advancing across America. And that's why Emmanuel Global is actively investing in church plants across the United States. Right now, we are supporting 7 active church plants, 2 church planting organizations, and 1 evangelistic ministry, reaching our nation for Christ. In a healthy church, we love like a family, we feed like a flock, we grow like a garden, we function like a body, and we work together like a team. And when we do these things, we allow the gospel to run free. This healthy church model is what we pray we will be and what we can help to multiply nationally and globally. Earlier this year, Pastor Carey visited our church planters Philip and Mackenzie Jones at Crosspoint Baptist Church. While there, the church hosted a leadership training as well as 2 full worship services. Many in the church family were impacted by the fires, but Crosspoint continues to grow. They launched a 2nd service last August, and that service is now full. So they are preparing to launch a 3rd service this fall. People are coming to Christ, being baptized, and being discipled. We are currently praying that God would provide a larger and more permanent location for Crosspoint in Pasadena. In the Gospel Refuel is an annual retreat for pastors, and it's just one example of how we are equipping and encouraging pastors. Just 2 weeks ago, pastors and church leaders from across the country gathered for a time of encouragement, training, and fellowship. It's a privilege to invest into these pastors and churches each year, providing them resources to equip them to return to their pulpits, better prepared to shepherd their churches with health and strength. In a similar way, recently, God allowed us to pour into New England pastors at Mount Greylock Baptist Church in North Adams, Massachusetts. Speaking of healthy churches, this year, Ken and Denise Baker celebrated 15 years of ministry at Victory Baptist Church in the Bronx. They are now in their 3rd building since launching. And for their 15th anniversary service, they had to rent an outside facility to fit the entire church family. What a work God is doing in New York City. We're also thankful for Anthony and Bethany Stafford, who were sent out by Emmanuel 7 years ago to plant Electric City Baptist Church in Schenectady, New York. They have faithfully preached the gospel, and God has built His church. In fact, through the growth of Electric City Baptist Church, God has opened a really incredible opportunity.
We're coming to you from the church building that we were able to purchase a couple years ago by God's blessing, and we've seen a lot of growth happen at ECBC over the last few years. There's been baptisms and people reached with the gospel and people being ministered to on a regular basis. And the next 6 to 7 months or so here in the upcoming fall, maybe even a little bit less than that, we're going to be planting a church.
We've been looking at the mission field around us, and we are looking at what's available and what God is doing in this area. And we found this place called Lansingburg, New York. It's 20 minutes from Albany, 20 minutes from Schenectady, and just outside of Troy. Right. And it is an area that deeply needs the gospel and a community of faith where people can learn and grow.
But we know that the Lord is the one that brings the increase, and He's calling us to this new work.
In Fells Point, Baltimore, Stephen and Allie Toole launched Point Church in September of last year. We've been partnering with them since the beginning, and in the last year, God has given them a growing congregation of young families, strong Sunday services, and He's led them in launching their first small groups. In July, a team of 12 from Emmanuel served at Point Church for an extended weekend. We canvassed an entire zip code with over 4,700 invitations. We engaged in multiple community outreaches and helped set up for their mobile worship service at the Marriott Hotel. In fact, that Sunday, we worshiped with Point Church and rejoiced to see guests from the week's outreach attend service. Looking ahead, one of Point Church's biggest prayer requests is for a permanent meeting space. Finally, last year, we began partnering with Josh and Rachel Skelly, who launched Redemption Church in Tampa, Florida in February of 2024. Over the last year, they've seen souls saved, They've seen 8 believers baptized, and a member who started attending Redemption a month after it was started is now training to be a pastor. But the coolest story of all is that Redemption's very first convert came as a result of someone from our church inviting them to Redemption. How cool is it that our impact goes far beyond Newington, Connecticut? These and many other examples are why we care about healthy churches. And that's why last year we helped to launch the Healthy Church Network at Healthy Church Weekend. In their first year, they assisted in launching 2 churches, as well as providing resources designed to equip churches and planters to reproduce. In the months ahead, the network is also launching its first church planning training module. Our prayer is that this network will be a mighty tool in the hands of God for years to come, helping healthy churches reproduce healthy churches. While planting and strengthening churches is the heartbeat of national missions, sometimes God presents unexpected opportunities that allow our church to show the love of Christ and impact others. In 2024, Hurricane Helene struck North Carolina, leaving behind severe damage and displacing countless families. And while much attention went to the most visible areas, many rural communities received little direct help. But that's where Emmanuel jumped in. We launched a drive for food, clothing, and essentials, and our church responded overwhelmingly. We filled an entire U-Haul, and 2 men from our church drove the goods to North Carolina, where our contact delivered them into the hills. God has also opened the door for our church to touch lives on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. In the last year, Pastor Carey has traveled to Washington 4 times to join Steve Amerson and his ministry team to minister to lawmakers, staffers, and to teach the Bible in a midweek study. With over 18,000 people working on Capitol Hill, it is truly a mission field of its own. As we look back on this year of national missions, we celebrate the faithfulness and goodness of God. Every church planted, every door open, every gospel conversation. It's all His work, and all glory belongs to Him. Church family, let's keep reaching our country for Christ, trusting that God will do more than we could ever imagine until the light of the gospel shines brightly in every corner of our nation.